opened my eyes. It's a brand new day. I'm grateful and happy. I still get to say thank you. The battle was great. The lessons I learned shaped who I am today.
Power Ace Radio.
All right. Hello. Hi
Hello.
all. I'm Pali. And with me is Olivia. This is our new face of Power Ace Radio.
Hi,
And if we can get you to introduce yourself, please tell us what you do, what's your name, and where you're from.
Was that to Olivia or was that to me?
Oh, this is
okay. This is for me. Okay, so my name is Tatiana Blades. I'm from Miami, Florida, born and raised, and a little bit about myself. I'm a singer for the collectives, kind of wear many hats, jack of many trades. I have a production and entertainment company here in Miami, which I'm very proud of, Aura Entertainment. And in being able to kind of pursue that dream and have it go well, it's allowed me a lot more opportunities to pursue music, which is really what I've always wanted to do. And I didn't do it before because I think artists kind of get to know or learn the process very quickly, that when you're making music and then you become get involved in being more commercial, you get introduced to suggestions of changing maybe things that would be more demographically, pull demographic interests, and so in that process early on, I didn't like it, so I stepped away from music. And then this allowed me a more organic approach to get involved again and kind of do it my own way, which is how the band came about.
That's exciting. Because actually, I would take that from that, because you can release a track, and after a while, as you said, once you get into that corporate bubble, you get censored into what you can't do, how long it should be, even down to how you should be dressing and what you should be saying.
Absolutely. I had agents start to look at my Instagram, which I actually first had as private. And then they were like, first mistake, you have to make that public. And I was like, what? They're like, yeah, first you got to make it public. And then, so I'm born in the USA, but my background is Puerto Rican Panamanian from my parents. And even from that, my grandparents are, Colombian, Cuban, so I've got a very large, diverse family. And I'm born and raised here, so I had done a photo shoot, simple in passing. I had a USA flag as my jacket, and it wasn't anything like there was much focus, but you could probably see me from like here to there. And because you can see the USA flag, they had mentioned to me that I may want to consider removing that photo, and I may want to consider removing certain things because the USA is not necessarily being viewed the best right now in the world. This was, back when a couple of things were going on. And I was like, really? And they're like, oh, and there's too many things, we want you to change this and, and I can understand there is, I understand this is a business, there's a process and a way of doing things. But when it started getting down to what is this was, I'd never heard this statement said to me before. And when I got asked the question, I was just like, what? They're like, what's your hero image? And I'm like, who's my hero? And they're like, no. What's your hero image? And I'm like, I don't understand what that is. And they're like, what is your brand? Who are you? What are you that we're selling? And I never, ever thought of myself, nor do I even now, in that capacity. I was just like, I don't know. I'm a person playing music, and like, I don't know how else to express that. But thankfully there's people that know a little bit more about this than I do, so they can it helps to have the right people so that they understand who you are and honor being involved with you in projects that will honor that, that won't force you to be something that you're not.
No, absolutely. That makes a lot of sense, and that's the industry as it is. To be honest, you know, Olivia.
It is. It is. It's part of it. You really have to ask yourself how involved you want to be.
Hmm.
I mean, while you're touching on that, what is like the one thing you would want to change within the music industry, if you could? Like
Ooh.
anything. Any.
A great question. Well, that's a great question. Okay, so I'm gonna say this first because like I come from a family of musicians that are way more experienced and have way more history than I do. I feel like I'm dabbling my feet in the water right now. But I would say something that and again, I guess it's just part of it. People have opinions, and I would love to remove the view that you have to be a certain age to be successful or a certain image to be successful, because it's like you'll get to hear, honestly, you'll hear, oh, you're too pretty to be taken seriously, oh, you're too old, you missed the boat, oh, you know, you don't look like this or you don't sound like this. And I don't think that talent has an age limit. I don't think that, you know, because you turn 20 or 30 or 50, that your talent stops then. It could just be establishing itself, you know, or you just haven't been found. I think a big part of that is also having to believe in yourself, because you're going to come in across from people and everyone's going to have an opinion that they're going to want to give you and try to stir you in their own direction. But I think removing those negative connotations that you have to look like this, you have to sound like this, or you have to be this in order to be successful. Because I don't, like I said, you know, there's so many artists out there. Mick Jagger has Rolling Stones, you know, Louis Armstrong, Etta James, like all these are people that just because they got older, they didn't cease to be amazing. They even got better. So I think that would probably be a stigma that I would want to remove from the music industry, that you have to look this way or be this age. I hate that. I really don't like that.
Yeah, like you shouldn't be defined or put in a category like that. And I think that's still happening, even
because it's all about the music, you know. At the end of the day, it's the music. It's, you know, it's what are you saying? How does it touch people? How does it reach people? Is it making a difference? I don't know what a face has to do with that. I think it's the voice more than anything. So yeah.
Suppose you're that's why we're Power Age Radio. So you know, we're on the radio. Yeah, okay, we have these sort of videos, but we cut through all of that. You get so let's say on most of the music platforms that we get music from, we don't get to watch the video. And actually some of them, they might be on a YouTube video, but we won't even watch that. We just listen to the sounds. That's what we review based on.
That's great.
All that is superficial, you know. It's okay, it's good for something to look good, you know. That's why, you know, you rather
So
take
you're really
pictures.
judging it just on the sound first, what you're feeling and experiencing.
Yeah, because that way you can you will have seen some music where you watch the video and you're like, oh, this is really great, and then it plays on your radio and you're like, I don't actually like that. But it's
yes, it's so true. I know exactly what you're talking about. I come from the generation and era of like when MTV used to be actual music TV, like music videos. And I remember sometimes, and I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but sometimes have you ever like heard a song and you didn't like it, but then you saw the video and then you liked it? Or vice versa, like you know, like it's happened to me before. So I've always felt like if a song is good, no matter what, it's going to capture your attention. A video sometimes helps because sometimes people are more visual and feeling something, but a bad song, I don't know, maybe a bad song can get a good video and go crazy. But I think all of it is art. All of it bleeds into each other. But I like that you guys do that and you listen to it first. That's really awesome.
That's great, thank you. So yeah, Olivia, back to you.
Yeah, I mean, on the topic of that then, where do you get your inspiration for your lyrics? Where do they come from?
Oh, wow. I've been writing, and so I work in production, and sometimes I'll have people tell me that are like 20 years old that they're like, I've done this my whole life. And I'm like, life just began. So I was like, because even myself, I've written since a very young age. I used to have composition books, the black and white composition books that you get for school, and I would fill them with random thoughts, poetry, music, things, and I still have them. I never threw them away. So I've always been writing, and I think similar to anybody else, you kind of write on your own experiences. You write from what you understand to be true, especially when you're younger. You're writing personal things that are happening to you, changes, emotions that you can't really explain. And something about music that I've always been drawn to ever since I was little, and I'm talking about these experiences that were, I didn't know how to understand. I would listen to music, and my mom listened to like Simply Red, and like, you know what I mean, like the old school Foreigner, those old schools kind of style. I guess you'd call them old school now, but and Enigma, and I loved that stuff, and I really loved listening to music and hearing somebody tell a story through and it writing myself. I understood that this person went through something, and they're telling a story, and they managed to come out of it on the other side. And so whenever I was going through something that seemed really bad or that too much, you know, I would listen to music, and then I wouldn't feel so alone. So I figured I would just, I didn't know that this was going to happen. Honestly, I really didn't. Like, the band happened 2-3 years ago by accident, by us publishing the songs that we were playing together. And like, people reached out to us, and they were like, oh, do you want to play over here? And I'm like, you want to pay us? I was like, oh my God, yeah, let's go. And so it got to a point where people were like, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, what do you mean? And they're like, do you want to just be person singing in bars and in places, or do you really want to do more? And I was like, we should do more. So then we started sitting together and writing. And the process is really interesting with my bandmates, because we each have very different backgrounds and demographics with music, and different ways that we express it. So I think that's something that makes us, it's really cool to work with them in that way. And so what happens is we'll get together, and like my bandmate Eddie, who's on guitar, he'll start playing some chords, you know, he's like, I have this idea, and he'll play some stuff, and we can go through this where I'll be like, no, next, no, I don't hear anything. So until I hear a strum or a chord and I hear a melody in my head, I can just hear the melody, not the words yet. Sometimes I can hear the words, but I'll just hear something, and I get a rhythm, and I'm like, all right, here's the melody. And then I'm like, and sometimes I'll hear the lyrics, or I'll hear a phrase, or I'll hear a sentence, and I go from there. So for the song All Within Me, which is the second most recent release that we did, I actually wrote the second verse just flat out, which was, it goes, I opened my eye, and this is absolutely true. This is an absolutely true comment. I stick to it. I actually say it daily. So it goes, I opened my eyes. It's a brand new day. I'm grateful and happy that I still get to say thank you to the universe. You know, it's thank you. The battle was great. The lessons that I've learned have shaped who I am today. And the reason for that second verse was October 23rd of last year, of 2020. One of my oldest friends passed away from an accidental overdose. He had cocaine that was laced with fentanyl, and 37 years old, and young. And it really had me in a state of shock for about 2 weeks, because I could not believe this happened. And so I always, when I go to sleep, I'm like, now I lay me down to sleep, I pray the Lord my soul to keep. I always do this little thing every single night. And because you never know when it's your time. You never know when it's your day. And so every day when I wake up, I always remember, I'm grateful and I'm happy that today, regardless of what happened yesterday, I still have an ability to say I'm sorry. I still have an ability to change. I still have an ability to be better. I am by no means perfect. I'm working on myself every day. And so I really truly am grateful that every day I get to do a little bit of a change, at least if not in my life, in someone else's.
Wow. That is a fully comprehensive answer. Really, really touching. I'm sorry to hear about your friend passing
Thank
away.
you. It seems to be a thing that's going on everywhere right now. It's I don't know how else to make the world right other than through maybe writing a song and singing it, and somebody hears it and they know, maybe they can feel that, man. The first line that I said, that it says, is sometimes you feel like shit. And that's true. And there was debate on whether to have the word shit in there. It was one of the things. And I hope my producer doesn't get mad at me for this. And I'm a highlight. He's an amazing producer, and then we have an amazing team. And in his defense, he was thinking for us to have a bigger reach and not to be limited by censorship, as we spoke about, or cursing. Why don't we take it out? Why don't we put something else in there? And I was like, no, I want to leave it in there, because life, we always post the positive. We always put a filter. We're always saying what's great and what's this. And guess what? Life 90% is not that. It's sometimes you feel like shit. Sometimes you woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Sometimes you made a mistake. You fucked up. You realize that that's not the way to go. But guess what? That's okay. You have another day tomorrow. You can make it right. That's really what the song is about. We every day as people have to find something within ourselves to overcome some either something personal, something family, something communal. It's not always rainbows and Skittles. We gotta understand and take that there is bad. And I think that that's also something that kids nowadays are missing. Everybody sees the filtered beauty, all of the best parts, and they don't realize that, guess what? In order to get to where we're at right now, we had to eat a lot of shit. We had to hear a lot of no's. We had to hear a lot of, not my thing. Great, it's my thing. So, it's like, you have to learn how to get past that. And that's really why I wrote that song and what that song is really about.
And how do you go through that thought process of actually, so yeah, you're going to have lots of different people trying to sway you in different directions, especially when, they used to say, if you don't stand for something, you fall for everything. And when you're just starting off, you're very open to a lot of ideas. You kind of, you do want to get it this way, you do want to get it that way. And people will go, oh, yeah, come on, let's say even with your band, make a band, do this, get rid of that. How do you filter through all of that? Go, actually, this is what I want to do, and this is how I'm going to do it.
Okay, I'll tell you a story. I haven't actually said this to anybody. I haven't repeated it, but so my uncle and my father are very recognized in the music industry, and specifically in the Latin music industry. My uncle was just honored at the recent Grammys as a person of the year. He won album of the year, song of the year, all of that amazing stuff. So when I started dipping my toes in when I was about 15 years old, I started going to the studio with my dad. And back at that time, he was signed with Crescent Moon, which was Emilio Estefan and Gloria Estefan's recording company. And that's when Shakira, it was the same year that Shakira had done Hips Don't Lie, My Love Don't Cost a Thing by Jennifer Lopez. I got that song. I heard the sample of that song first, and they were talking to me about me singing on it. Although, to be quite honest, it wasn't my cup of tea. I'm not really into that style. But then J-Lo heard it and she wanted it, and then it was that. So when I started getting involved, people were like, well, you're a Blades. You need to be in the Latin sector. You need to sing like this. You need to sing like Paulina Rubio. You need to be very, very excited and very hyper and I'm not like that. I am, but not like that. You know what I mean? Like, that's not the music that I put out. Like, people that I really admired, somebody growing up, was Alanis Morissette at that time. Alanis Morissette, Coldplay, U2, Depeche Mode. These are some of my favorite artists. And that was not what they were asking me to do, wasn't who I was truly. you can have a good voice and you could be a good performer, but if your heart's not in it, I think people can sense that a little bit. And so I gave it a try and I started going into the studio and singing these songs that I didn't, number one, I didn't like. I didn't feel them. And I was sitting there getting yelled at by the producers, like, no, put more, jump up and down, put more emotion, sing it like this, pronounce it like this, do it like this. I mean, they may as well stepped into my soul, like in Ghost, like when the ghost goes into Whoopi Goldberg and starts talking. I was like, that's ultimately what was happening. And honestly, I think the end result sucked. Like, it was like a pretty voice, but there was nothing behind it. There was no emotion. There was absolutely nothing. And I ended up hating it. And it was so crushing to me because I love music. It's the first thing that I just get it. I get it. Nobody has to explain it to me. And when I'm in it, it's like, I'm not thinking of anything else at all. And so to do it, to be involved in it and to have people hear it is such an honor. I will never underappreciate it, but I said, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to step away. Maybe it's not for me. I went to opening up an entertainment agency, which focuses on the arts and events and parties and costume creation and all of this great stuff. But I thought music maybe wasn't for me. So it wasn't until I got with my bandmates and we just were playing at a coffee shop. We would get together once a week, all of us, and just play for fun, not for anything, just that was our thing. Like people get together for drinks, like we got together for music. We started recording it and people, like I said, started asking us. I couldn't believe it. We didn't have a name. We didn't have like anything. I was like, they were like, okay, we'll book you on January of 2019 was our first ever booking. I was so fucking nervous. I had never sang in front of people. I didn't know what to expect. I was like, but we did it. And our first show, they were like, we're going to book you every single month. And the rest is it was one request after another, one thing after another. And then it's insane how it's happened. I'm honestly, I never really thought, and I can say this, I think this is the power and the goodness of social media and the goodness of Zoom and us being able to connect in this way, because back then none of this existed. And the only way that we would have gotten seen, YouTube didn't exist. The only way that we would have gotten found was through a record label or through a place, and we would have had to do it their way, or I would have had to do it their way. And as a result, to be honest, I don't think I would have been successful. So I mean, I'm not Cleo, I'm not Madame Cleo, but I think this is the most authentic I've been able to be. And so we're probably not getting to where I would love to be as quickly as I would like, but I think as long as we're staying true to who we are, and it may not be for everybody. Some producer may have a thought on this person or my thing, but what I do know is that during live performances, we're resonating with people. Like during certain songs in a crowded room, it's for me, it's like a drug. A crowded place and people are drinking. You can't tell them, you can shut the fuck up, I'm singing, but it's like, that's not my goal. My goal is to be able to reach you through what I'm singing, how I'm singing, and make you connect with me, or make us connect in a way that you feel something. So like that song Zombie, when we get to a certain part at the end, you can hear the room silent. And I could hear like that. I could hear that. And I've heard that and I have it on video. And when I was like, I did it. I got somebody. They felt what this is. And that is what it's all about. And I think if we can get enough people to feel that, I don't care what any executive or any higher up has to say. I'm going to keep doing that. So it's a fight. It's a battle uphill, but I think it's worth it when you get to the top.
Absolutely. I really fully appreciate your answer. And before we kind of, because you left a little bit there. You said about the song. You said about how it made people feel. Well, surely you want to give us a little taste of it. Surely we've got to have some.
Yeah, absolutely. Which one should I do? All right, I'll do All Within Me since we talked about that one. All right.
Okay.
It goes, sometimes you feel like shit. Woke up on the wrong side. You scratch that itch. 3, 4. Was the juice worth the squeeze? You got what you wanted, but not what you need. And then I'm going to take you one more to the verse 2, which is the one that I had sang about. And it says, I opened my eyes. It's a brand new day. I'm grateful and happy. I still get to say, thank you. The battle was great. The lessons I learned shaped who I am today. And so that's all within me.
That was good. I was starting to dance and just only swaying.
Thank you very much. It means a lot to me. Talking to you guys means a great deal. I actually told my cousin, he's in London as well. We have a very large family. He's Welsh Panamanian and lives in London. And he was asking me like, what is this going on? You're over here. I would like, it would be such a dream to be able to go over there and play. I mean, hopefully we'll get to see you in person. I'll get to see you in person and shake hands. That would be amazing.
That would be awesome. As long as you let us know when, we will have a spot for you to perform.
Absolutely.
Most definitely. Actually, we started, you know what was actually very interesting when I got your, this Tatiana, and I'm like, But then it says something about Aura Entertainment, and we actually just started a show where we showcase the good music that we get on Power Ace Radio. We get to showcase it to people, you know.
Yeah.
Say, okay, well, this is what we're playing. These are the best jams that we have. And the club itself is called Aura. So
way!
This is definitely meant to be.
You know, and the reason why I actually named my company that was because I believe this, and you can see I believe this really in all areas. One of the reasons I opened my company was because I saw the same way in music that you had mentioned. I saw people getting disregarded for companies that were truly talented because they weren't pretty enough. They didn't have this look. They were too old, too young. And honestly, all I see is talent. So I can put makeup on somebody. I can do this, but you can't replace talent. You just can't. You can't fake it. You can have all the determination and persistence that you want, but the greatness comes from within yourself. So I believe what you end up seeing is what's really inside of the person, because at the end of the day, what you're seeing is a performance and a show and what we have to offer. So in music and in entertainment, I really truly believe that to be true. And I thank you guys for sharing our message over there across the seas. It means more than you can ever even imagine.
Oh, there's so much to us for you releasing those great stuff and not letting the man put you down.
Yes, absolutely. So to speak, yes.
And so what is in the pipeline?
What was that?
What's in the pipeline? While we're looking,
Ooh,
what's
okay.
next
So, oh my God, I don't know if I could say it. Okay. So, okay, I'll say it. So basically right now, I'm working on a song. It's called La Da Da. And I showed it to a couple people. They really were like, what's going on with this song? I showed it to my dad, and my dad was like, come here, let's do some writing. So I'm working on that song, and that one will hopefully be released. I would think, if I'm thinking realistically, maybe August. My goal is for Red Rocks in Arizona. It's an amphitheater that's made of natural rocks. It's amazing. So that's one of my goals. And then the Grammys for All Within Me, I'm entering a submission for that. So we'll see what happens and if it even will become something. But we did just get a call. We have in Florida, we have our hockey team, and they're having a hockey playoffs, and they were looking at our band being the halftime playoff band for the show, which would expose us to about 19,000 new audiences. So I'm really, it looks like it's something that's a green light. I mean, I don't want to, I never like to say anything before it happens, but I think one step, how do you get through something just little by little? So we'll see, onward and upward. Hopefully this is not the first or the last, you know, that it's the first, but hopefully it's not the last that we get to talk to one another.
Absolutely. Oh no, absolutely. I'm really excited about the future. And before we miss this hour as well, where are the go-to places to go and get, you know, to make sure we don't miss anything? Where should we go?
So you can always find our music on Apple Music. We have a Spotify account, SoundCloud, YouTube Music. But the easiest way to get a direct link to us and all things associated is you can go to www.collektives.com. That has our show dates, our music, our photos, everything that we're doing, our social media handles, our EPK, I mean, everything, and upcoming show dates. We keep it very up to date and very clean. We don't like to bombard it with a lot of crap. It's very simple. You go right to it. You can sample all of the music, and we offer a discount for getting it directly through us. So that way we don't have to pay the man and all the other people.
Okay, back to the man again. No, absolutely. No, so thank you so much. You know, as we're wrapping up, Olivia, well, any last few things?
Gosh, I'm trying to pick what question to say.
Hey.
Okay, I've got two.
Okay.
One of them is, out of all your renditions, out of all your like covers, like I Need a Hero, I Am a Creep, which one is your favorite? Which one would you like go to straight away?
Oh, okay. Well, that's an easy answer. That's a very easy answer for me. Okay, any Alanis song, number one. Number two, when I first started out, I am one of those, I was like 13, again, listening to Enigma and all of the Tori Amos and like every like Bjork. I was like all over the place. So I really liked the Cranberries, and I just loved their songs. So Zombie has always been a favorite of mine. And I remember when I would try to go sing at places, they were like, it's too slow. You got to do something more upbeat. And I was like, fuck that. I'm going to, I don't know if I said that, but I was like, I'm going to do this my way, and I'm going to sing it. And we did. And people, every musician locally is singing Zombie, but I absolutely love the energy. It starts off slow, the build up, the rocker part, the bringing it back down. Like, I love it. And the message in that also, as we celebrate Women's Month in March, is that song had a lot to do, and I'm sure you guys know, like in that time, there was violence, there was guns. That song was written with regards to the war that was going on. Another mother hangs her head, another mother loses her child to the war. Like and that song was part of a ceasefire with the IRA, if I'm not mistaken, on the history of that song. So it just, for me, it shows the power of music, the messages that sometimes it can share with people that politics can't, and just bringing people together. So a song like Zombie is really awesome. Creep is my second runner up, but we have to be careful where we play that, because drunk patrons don't really want to hear a slow song. But I'll kind of juice it up by, guys, get your phone out for that creep in your life that you need to, this one's for you, you know, and then people kind of get into it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's a really good answer. Okay. Okay, I've got one more.
Okay.
It's a random question. Now, I know you love dogs.
I do.
Now, if you could be any animal apart from a dog, or what would it be?
You know what's funny about this? I thought about this before you've asked me this question. But honestly, I would think it would have to be, I don't know what specific bird, but along the lines of being a bird, a falcon, an eagle, something that is able to travel and see large lays of land. something about that just makes it's probably an owl because I'm a night creature. I'm always awake. I'm always like going a million miles, and I like to rest during the day. So probably an owl would be most suitable for my personality, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Very aware, very detail oriented, likes to sleep and party at night. Yes, owl.
Okay. There you go.
That's a really awesome answer. I've never had an owl before, but yeah, I feel you when you say there is that thing. I think about the sort of artist you are as well. You know, being a bird means you're just completely free. You just take off and just fly off.
You just gotta trust it. Go with the wind. See where it takes you. So you can't fly against it. You got to fly with it, but you can still go in your own direction. You know.
That's it.
Yeah.
That is perfect. So well, time flies when you're having fun, as they say. I definitely had fun. It's great really having you on the show. You're amazing artist, and onwards and upwards. I used to say that, you said that, so I would just say sky is the limit. You know that you're going places.
Your lips to God's ears. I hope.
Such an honor.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to speak with both of you.
So nice.
Thank you very much. Ciao.
Until we meet again. Bye.
Until we meet again.
Bye.
Ciao.
Bye.
Awesome. I love the station. Power Ace Radio.